It's like a city perched on top of a hill, like a bird. So that's why it's called Sepphoris. Sepphoris is the Greek Latin name. This was a place that most likely Jesus may have spent most of his adolescence. For sure he didn't do it in Nazareth. There was nothing there. Nazareth was a place that I wouldn't even call a town or a village. I wouldn't even call it a hamlet. It was more like a way station on the side of the road. Many people believe that the dregs of society lived out there or hung out there. It was a community of less than 100 people, just a few families centered around the common well. That's all Nazareth was. Excuse the example, but it was like the Bakersfield of Israel. Okay, at the time.
We got it.
Nothing there.
Yeah.
Okay, but here we are, just a few miles away from Nazareth, and this was the biggest metropolis, the biggest city in Galilee 2,000 years ago. This city was the capital of the Galilee. It was a city where Gentiles, meaning pagan, Jews lived together, and it was one of the only cities that did not revolt against Rome during the Great Revolt. And as a result, when the rest of the country was subdued, this particular town or city received certain privileges that other places did not receive. It prospered, and for sure, Joseph, the stepfather of Jesus, and Jesus, as an adolescent who was probably an apprentice to his father, they must have done a lot of work here. Because if there were less than 100 people living in Nazareth, once you made a chair for everybody, what are you going to do, right? Make sense? They probably did a lot of work here. And of course, Jesus, as a young boy, being very curious in his adolescence, must have spent a lot of time walking down the streets of this beautiful city called Sepphoris. Many people tend to believe also that the parents of Mary may have been born also in this area as well. After the destruction of the temple, this is the place where the Talmud and the Mishnah started to get its roots. Those are commentaries written about the Bible. That was a period, the 1st and 2nd century AD, the Talmud and Mishnah period. Okay? The city prospered. There was a meshing of cultures here, being Roman, Greek, and Jewish as well, later on Christian. This is one of the few places where all of these people got together and there was no strife. You're going to see a lot of assimilation here. We're going to see some beautiful mosaics. We're going to go into a building where you're going to see what many people call the Mona Lisa of the North. It looks like a painting, like a Rembrandt, but it's a mosaic of a woman. We don't know who this woman was, but if that was a Jewish home, then it seems very strange that they would have images on the floor of pagan gods, like Heracles and Dionysus. That's what you'll see on the floor over here. Fantastic. We're going to go part over here where they uncovered a corridor or a broad street. We're going to see governmental buildings, and again you're going to see a Nile scene of Roman soldiers hunting down the Nile in Africa. Also you'll see mounted Amazon women. Now we don't know if there was really a tribe of Amazons or it was just a legend, but you'll see them as bowmen or bowwomen on top of horses. And many of them, or at least in one of them, you'll notice that the woman has only one breast. According to legend, because they were archers, they would have to remove one of their breasts so they would not get in the way of them using the bow. Really? Okay? So, okay. I'm just passing the word on. I didn't make it up. Okay? So we'll take a look at that as well.